Right, imagine this. You've just discovered that a company worth £24 billion doesn't actually exist. Not struggling a little bit, not having a rough patch. Literally, it doesn't exist. It's like finding out your mate's been catfishing you for 3 years, except this time it's dodgy accountants and they've nicked everybody's pension. Stick around because this story is absolutely mental. Alright, welcome back to the channel where we dive into the most bonkers business stories that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about money. Today, we're talking about Wirecard, a German fintech that convinced the entire world it was the next big thing. We're talking bigger than most Premier League football clubs, more valuable than half of the FTSE 100, and sitting pretty as Germany's golden boy of financial technology. But here's the thing, it was all total BS. Complete and utter BS. This isn't just another startup that overpromised and underdelivered. This is the business equivalent of showing up to a job interview with a fake CV, getting hired as CEO, and somehow running the company for 20 years before somebody notices you can't even read a spreadsheet. Now, before we get into the proper madness, let's talk about why this happened. The startup world is basically built on smoke and mirrors and PowerPoint presentations that would make a year 9 business studies teacher weep. Everyone's chasing the next unicorn. That's tech speak for a company worth over $1 billion. Not the mythical horse, though honestly, both are about as likely to exist. The problem is, when you've got investors throwing money around, like they're at a strip club in Vegas, due diligence often goes out the window faster than your dignity after a night out in Magaluf. Companies get valued based on potential, not actual revenue. It's like buying a house based on the estate agent's description without ever viewing it. Oh yes, it's definitely got 4 walls and a roof, trust me bruv. And here's where it gets properly crazy. The bigger the lie, the more people believe it. It's like that mate who claims they can bench press twice their body weight. First time they say it, you're a bit skeptical, but after hearing it 50 times at different parties, you start thinking maybe they're actually the Rock in disguise. So let's meet our star player, Markus Braun. This Australian accountant looked about as threatening as a Sunday school teacher. But blimey, did he have some proper audacity. He took over Wirecard in 2002 when it was basically a dodgy payment processor for online casinos and adult websites. Proper classy start. But Braun had bigger dreams than processing payments for people buying questionable content at 3 a.m. He rebranded Wirecard as the future of fintech, promising to revolutionise how we pay for everything. Think of it as the German answer to PayPal, except PayPal actually worked and didn't make up their numbers. Here's where it gets properly crazy. Wirecard claimed to be absolutely crushing it in Asia. They were supposedly processing billions in transactions across the Philippines, Singapore and Malaysia. The growth was so mental that even seasoned investors were like, bloody hell, these people have cracked the code. Their revenues were supposedly doubling every year, which in the fintech world is like claiming you can run a marathon backwards while juggling flaming torches. Here's the thing, most of these Asian operations were about as real as a £3 note. They had partnerships with companies that either didn't exist or had never heard of Wirecard. It's like claiming your mates with Cristiano Ronaldo and you've never been to Portugal. The money was being shuffled around through a network of shell companies that would make a Russian oligarch jealous. Enter our hero, Dan McCrum, a Financial Times journalist who was basically the Sherlock Holmes of financial fraud. This absolute legend started asking awkward questions like, hang on, where's all this money actually coming from? And why do your Asian partners not seem to exist? Proper inconvenient questions that made Wirecard's executives sweat more than a vegetarian at a barbecue. The turning point came in 2020, when Wirecard's auditors, the supposedly respectable Ernst & Young, basically said, we can't actually find €1.9 billion. Not, it's a bit delayed, or it's stuck in transit. They literally couldn't find nearly €2 billion. That's like losing track of the entire GDP of Luxembourg. Within days, Wirecard's stock price crashed, harder than England's penalty hopes at a World Cup. Markus Braun was arrested and the company filed for insolvency. The whole thing collapsed faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. Investors lost everything, employees lost their job, and the entire German financial system had to have a proper long look at itself in the mirror. So what's the moral of this absolutely mental story? Well, first off, Just because someone's wearing a suit and speaking in a posh accent doesn't mean they're not chatting complete nonsense. The Wirecard scandal exposed how easy it is to fool supposedly smart investors when you've got a good story and impressive PowerPoint skills. The whole thing was like a massive game of Emperor's New Clothes, except instead of royal nudity, it was financial fraud on an epic scale. Everyone was so afraid of missing out on the next big thing that they forgot to check if the thing actually was a thing. It's a reminder that in the world of startups, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and maybe, just maybe, check if the company you're investing in actually does what it says on the tin. Right. What do you think about this? Are you surprised that a company can fake it for so long? Or is it just another Tuesday in the world of dodgy startups? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, even the ones calling me a muppet. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into corporate madness, hit that subscribe button and check out the next video on startup graveyards.